Small businesses in this country, particularly in our border towns, are anxiously awaiting for Canada and the U.S. to reach a trade deal by the deadline on Friday.
But the assurance for Canadian business, for Canadians, is we will only sign a deal that's the right deal, that's a good deal for Canada.
That's sort of the latest word from the Prime Minister. And while both countries have been negotiating for the last 2 months, several small businesses in border towns are struggling to stay afloat, and some may be forced to shut their doors for good. For a closer look at what a deal would mean for businesses at our border towns, I'm joined by Barbara Barrett, Executive Director of the Frontier Duty Free Association. And you'll remember, we spoke with her a few months back. We're going to do a check-in this morning. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Duty-free stores, we know, rely heavily on travel, and the travel to the U.S., we've been reporting this for months now, that those numbers have plummeted and continue to do so. StatsCan's latest shows a 33% decline in return trips from the U.S. That's just for the month of June. How much foot traffic have you seen since the last time we spoke, and how has that affected the bottom line of your business?
Well, thanks, Anne-Marie. I'll just a reminder that we are 100% reliant on that traffic going south of the border. And these are all independently owned Canadian small businesses that that without that traffic going to the U.S. Are in a crisis.
How much of a difference would having a set trade deal, regardless of what it ends up being, make for your stores?
So again, because we're reliant on that traffic going to the U.S. and that we have always enjoyed this back and forth on border in border towns and border communities, we understand that Canadians are upset, and we've been sounding the alarm from the very beginning of these tensions. So we don't expect that a trade deal is going to change things like a light switch, but it will start things back to a sense of normalcy. We want to lower that temperature and get that border back to what it used to be, that beautiful gem of people going back and forth and having that good relationship with our American neighbor to the south.
What are you hearing from other small business owners?
Well, we have heard from our own membership that a recent survey has shown that we will lose a third of our stores on the Canadian border that have been a part of the Canadian tourism fabric for over 40 years if something doesn't happen in the very near future. We have had one store announce that it will be closing by the end of the summer unless a miracle occurs. So this is a crisis. We aren't exaggerating. We do have confidence in our leadership, in the Prime Minister. He says that he won't leave any business behind, and we are really hoping that we see some action on that very soon.
You know, depending on who you ask and depending on what side of the border you're watching news, there either will be a deal on Friday or this deadline is going to get pushed. But regardless of what happens, what are some short-term solutions that could help your stores stay afloat in the meantime?
So we've been speaking with senior officials in the Prime Minister's office, in finance. Additionally, we've had a number of meetings with members of Parliament, border town ridings, who are very aware of how important these businesses are to their small communities across Canada. And we're asking them to do some small regulatory things that would really help level the playing field and allow our businesses to compete with our only competitor, which is the United States south of the border. Again, these small businesses are set up to keep dollars in Canada that would otherwise be spent in the United States. So we're asking them to level that playing field with some small regulatory changes that would allow us to compete.
If these
and get through this moment in time, really.
You're right, and it is a moment, but let's say that you know, that's part of the appeal of a deadline, is that this constant tension and the fighting back and forth would come to an end. If that doesn't happen by Friday, what does that mean for you?
Again, we want the temperature lowered. And the sooner we can move toward this sense of normality, the better it is for border communities and businesses like ours and border communities as a whole.
Barbara Barrett, Executive Director of the Frontier Duty Free Association. Thanks for coming back on Your Morning. We're going to continue to check in with you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.